Virtual Riot is back with the long-awaited remix package for the Simulation album almost 3 years after it was released, and I have to say that I'm really excited to review this because I've loved this era of Virtual Riot's music. Every time a big artist releases an album like this one, it just makes me so excited, and I thought that Simulation was one of the best albums of 2021. I really enjoyed the deluxe edition with a couple of new songs, and this one makes the best out of that era with new VIPs, with new remixes, some really amazing and big-name artists, and I'm really excited to go over each one because there's some really interesting stuff in here. I have to say that each time Disciple releases a big album like this one, it makes me really happy because it is a label that I've enjoyed over the last couple years, and a lot of different artists have gone to a couple different labels, but at the same time, I feel like these releases, the ones also from Roundtable, have propped up like a lot of really talented artists, and I feel like these kind of albums really pave the way for the future of bass music, of EDM, and I'm just really excited to talk about it. So there were no singles released prior to the DLC, so what I'm going to do is going to go over each one of the songs in order and say what I like the best out of each one, because there's some really special ones in here, some very unique stuff. There's a lot of color bass, there's some really more experimental stuff, and yeah, let's get on with the album. Welcome back. So the first one here is a VIP of the opening track of the Simulation album. It is the title track, Simulation, and this new VIP is really amazing. It has a new intro and also a really good second drop. I feel like the second drop is so creative and just like really powerful. Reminds me of some of like AT-Aliens' stuff, like really experimental, like shocking stuff. Yeah, and also makes the most out of the iconic melody from the Simulation song. And yeah, I just think it's a really good song. I feel like this one has like an extra touch to the original one, and I've been listening to it over and over, and yeah, I just really liked it. But the one that follows after this one is a real treat.
Yeah, let's do this.
Toho Rhythm, or Taha Rhythm, I don't know what that means or how it's pronounced. Remixed by Subtronics is a very special song. I feel like this one has been teased a lot of times and it's finally seeing the light of day. Subtronics, as you many people know, is one of my favorite artists. I love the way he mixes the best out of like bass music with other genres, and this one shows the best out of his talent. Fresh off his Tesseract album, this is the first song he's released and it's just amazing. I feel like the second, like the build up to the first drop is just so good, and I just love every time he plays it live, and it's no exception in this album. I feel like just listening to over and over again just really made me really happy. It's probably the one that I've replayed the most out of the album, and definitely a fan favorite by this point. And yeah, Toho Rhythm Subtronics remix is probably my favorite at the top, and I really liked it. And there's a couple other really good ones, and so far the first two tracks really set an amazing start to the album, and that's something I really appreciate. Now we got Chroma remix by Mr. Bill and Eliderp, and this one is just really interesting. I really love the touch Mr. Bill gives a lot of his songs. He's a really amazing like IDM kind of weird stuff that he produces kind of artist. I liked it in a lot of ways, and this one has a lot of like also color based drops, like kind of that's the best way I would describe it, which is probably like Eliderp's influence. I haven't listened to him much, but this one is just really good. I really like Chroma the original, and this one adds an interesting touch to it. But yeah, I really liked it, and I would like to keep listening to it because, like I said before, Chroma is one of my favorites out of Simulation, and this one with Mr. Bill's talent and just like adds a really cool touch to it.
I'm sorry, mate.
Then we have So Sorry Ranks remix, and this one adds a really powerful touch to the original So Sorry song. I feel like this one has just like that interesting, experimental, and a little bit of heavy kind of stuff going on. It's like really like lasery, that's the best way I would describe it, and really playful. Like it's playful in a dark way, which is kind of like the best way I would describe the song. Really interesting. I like it, and I think I would love to keep listening to it. Now we got one of the best and probably chunkiest songs in the album. It is Dreaming Basics Vivid Remix. And Dreaming was a really cool song the first time I listened to it in the last album. And this one adds a really also like really different touch to it. It has like a really distinct style that is similar to other basic songs that I've listened to before. This one has like those crashing drops and also like a lot of, it adds like a little bit more songwriting to the song. It's kind of like a little different intro, like those bridges like between those drops are really interesting, and it adds like an extra layer, like some extra instruments. And yeah, that's why I really like that. I feel like it adds a layer of songwriting and takes it in a lot of different directions that the original Dreaming song wasn't in. So yeah, I like this one. I like basic style, and he's really growing a lot, so I would love to keep listening to a lot of his songs like on and off the label. And yeah, I just think this one was really good, and the next one is also really, really good. Now we got Exile, the Forgotten remix, and oh my god, this song is really, really good. This one's just so interesting because I like the like really cool cyberpunk stuff, and I feel like this one like mixes the theme of simulation really well, like kind of like that futuristic technological and just really powerful feeling. And I feel like this one just, it has like those synthwave influences, those cyberpunk influences that make a lot of these songs really great, like in the genre. And I just liked it a lot. I feel like I would love to keep listening to the Forgotten's music because this one really piqued my interest, and it's just a really, really a nice touch to the original Exile song with the kids. And yeah, this one is really cool. I really love to keep sharing this one because it's just so interesting, and I like the kind of futuristic cyberpunk stuff. So yeah, highly recommend this one. Now we got Fork Funeral Don Kong remix, and this one is really, really cool. I feel like this one has like that like playful style. It's kind of, I don't know how to describe it, like house kind of style with a lot of like playful influences. Like that's just kind of like those drums that really, really hit different, and I just thought it was really cool, really interesting, and it has a lot of like substance to it, and it was really fun to listen to. And yeah, I just really like this one too. Okay, now we have probably my favorite song on the album, apart from the Subtronics remix. And I feel like they are like right now tied because Back in Time Dani Demand remix is so good. This one is just beautiful in every single way. It has so much like different things going on in it that like sets it apart from the original song. And that is something that I really appreciate because Back in Time was probably my favorite, one of my favorite songs on the album, probably like top 2 or 3, because it is just so good, so beautiful. I mean, I kind of like appreciate those remixes that like take the original song and just like add something different, but this one I feel like does the complete opposite. Like it takes an original song and then it transforms it into something completely new, and that is something that I just appreciated in every single way. This one is beautiful, it's shiny, it's just really, really good, and it adds like a lot of different voice. I think Dani Demand's voice is in there too, like adding an extra layer like on top of Angelica's voice, and it just has like that just like shiny feeling that I really appreciated. This is probably one of my favorites, and yeah, it's just really, really good. I highly recommend Back in Time Dani Demand remix. Now, the next one is also really, really good. It is called This Could Be Us, Franky Nuts, and Oliverse remix. Now, the original This Could Be Us is one of my favorite songs of all time. It is just really, really good. It is a great song with Mode Step, with Virtual Riot and Mode Step. And the Franky Nuts and Oliverse remix just adds a layer that really, really shines in a lot of ways. I feel like Oliverse's influence is more heard in the song. It's just like that really colorful and powerful and like just like pushy style that he has, like really interesting, and I just liked it. I feel like the drop, especially the first drop, like the build up is just so good. It fills you with so much passion, so much emotion, energy, and yeah, it's like an interesting twist to the original This Could Be Us, which I really appreciated, and it's really good. And I just like this song so much that I think like a whole remix package dedicated to it would have been amazing. But yeah, highly recommend this one. Now we got Fork Funeral Mr. Bill remix, and this is the second remix in the album. I like Mr. Bill a lot. I just feel like the first one was like a lot more powerful. This one just adds like an extra kind of like house feeling to the song, like a genre switch to the original Fork Funeral. But I think it was still good. I mean, Mr. Bill doesn't really fail. Like, he is just a really talented artist and producer. So this one, it just shines a lot. But for some reason, this one didn't stick out as much to me like some of the other songs. Now we have Neon Angel VIP with Electrique and Leah Culver. Now this one adds a twist to the original that turns it into a really cool DNB song, and I liked it because I haven't really heard many DNB songs from Virtual Riot, but this one shines in a lot of way, and it's really heavy. It reminds me of Musk's stuff, a little bit noisier in there, so it's kind of like really cool, and I listened to it a couple times, but I feel like it's gonna get better with each listen. I feel like this one is just really cool and really interesting. Now we have Dream Logic Nushi remix, and Nushi is one of those artists that is really making a name for himself or herself. I feel like Dream Logic just really takes a lot of the elements from the original, which is one of my favorites from Simulation, and transforms it into something really cool that like has those really interesting crashing synths in the song. It has some really colorful themes in there, and I just love like that really shiny style that a lot of the Halcyon artists have, because Nushi has released a lot in that label, and I feel like it's one of the most like forward pushing labels right now, and it just shows the most out in this one. It takes the original, adds an extra layer, and like the original Dream Logic that like has a really cool first drop and then takes it in a completely different direction in the second one. This one does the same thing, and that's something I really appreciated from it.
Entrar en la simulación.
We have Simulation, the Loompasketee's Lenny remix. And this song is, well, it's Loompasketee. I mean, if you listen to his other songs, you'll know what I'm talking about, but this artist is just really funny, really cool, and yeah, it adds like a really cool touch to the original Simulation song, which is representative to the album. And now that I think about it, I think we should have gotten just like a full remix songs, all of them remixed by Loompasketee, because yeah, it's Loompasketee. Come on, you gotta love him. And finally, to cap off the album, we have a classic reimagined for the modern era. It is We Are Not Alone, the 2024 VIP. And We Are Not Alone is a classic from Virtual Riot. I think it's, if you listen to him long enough, I feel like you have listened to the song a lot of times. It's just a beautiful song with a beautiful chorus in it and just some really cool drops. And I listened to the original one, like before this one, to compare both, and you can really tell like the amount of production that has gone into the song, the new one, like Virtual Riot's new skills, and you can really see the contrast between like the 2014 drop, kind of like the classic dubstep, which I really love it. I think that style of dubstep is always going to have a place in my heart, and that's something I want to mention, that I would love if more artists like experimented with the old sounds once again. But this one also adds like an interesting touch. I feel like this one shows the distinct style of the modern era compared to the past, and it just adds like that beautiful feeling in a completely new different direction. And I think it's a great way to cap off the album, to like remember the past songs, like the amazing, like appreciate the amazing work that was put into these songs like 10 years ago, and this one is the perfect example of that. I love Virtual Riot from the very beginning, and I feel like this one just adds that really cool layer to it. So anyways, those are pretty much all my thoughts on Simulation, the DLC album. As a final score, I'm going to give it a 78 out of 100. I feel like a lot of these songs exceeded my expectations. There were some really interesting, amazing surprises, such as the Dani Demand remix, which was one of my favorites. Ranking the songs, I'm going to put the Dani Demand remix right at the top. After that, we have Toho Rhythm Subtronics remix. My third favorite is Exile, the Forgotten remix. I highly recommend that one. And finally, in fourth and fifth place, we have We're Not Alone VIP and Simulation VIP, which were really amazing reimaginings of the original songs. And yeah, just a pretty solid album. Some really good songs, a lot that I'm gonna play a lot in the future. And yeah, those are pretty much all my thoughts on Simulation, the DLC. So anyways, thank you guys for watching this video. If you want to watch more EDM review videos and like melodic bass and some other bass artists that I'm gonna review their stuff, you can watch this channel and subscribe. So anyways, those are pretty much all my thoughts. So I guess see you guys around and have a great day.